Let's talk about Jake Retzlaff, who has committed to transfer to Tulane just less than 2 weeks after, well, withdrawing from BYU. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If that is something you're into, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer the question in the comments below. Do you think Jake Retzlaff is going to be the starting quarterback at Tulane, as they are in a very interesting spot going into their preseason camp? And did you expect for Retzlaff to find a place to play right away? I know that that's two-sided and multi-layered, but so is this story. Really good reporting by Pete Thamel to get this one. And I think the timeline is worth revisiting as we talk about what this means for Tulane and less about what it means for BYU and definitely what it means for Jake Retzlaff. I'm also going to take this opportunity to remind you that we have an audio podcast on Apple and Spotify. And if you're kind enough to go there and leave us a 5-star review on Apple and Spotify, I have been putting these stickers in the mail with a thank you note from me because, well, it means that much to me. So if you'd like to claim your sticker, go ahead and hit the form in the description below and tell me where I can send that to you. So May 2023, Jake Retzlaff is accused of rape. The allegations make it as far as school and a civil suit that was later dismissed. Okay. Following this, though, BYU states the obvious and says, hey, you had premarital sex, meaning you're not married, having sex. That breaks BYU's honor code, which is not to be taken lightly. So not to be taken lightly that even after no criminal charges were filed against Retzlaff, the civil suit was dropped, they're still going to enforce a 7-game suspension on him because breaking the honor code at BYU is that big a deal. Okay. Means that he would miss more than half of the 2025 season, which is likely to be his last season of college football. This is a guy that played 2 years at JUCO and then was recruited by lots of people, including John Sommerall when he was Troy, who is the head coach of Tulane now, ends up picking BYU, throws for 2,900 yards, 20 TDs, 12 picks, leads them to an 11-win season, and is expected to be one of the stars of the Big 12 coming up this year before this summer happens. Withdraws from school just about 12 days after the decision was met that, hey, look, you're probably going to face the suspension. Says, okay, all right, I'm going to go my separate way from you, and you're going to go your separate way from me, and we're going to do this as cordially as we can. What I didn't expect was for him to find a home so quickly for a couple of reasons. A, the Title IX investigation that I think the other school would want to do necessitates you probably walking on or just enrolling, right? But Tulane apparently has done that and has spent the last week doing their due diligence into the accusations against Retzlaff and how that might impact him at Tulane. And let's also add to this mix that Retzlaff had not graduated from BYU yet. He was just short of that. So this might set him back. We'll see. And as far as graduating from college, and if he graduates, he'd be graduating from Tulane. And I don't know that he'd be graduating from BYU. Maybe taking classes at Tulane just so you can get through the season and then maybe finish your BYU education online. I don't know. We'll see. I know this, though. None of the quarterbacks that have an opportunity to start for Tulane in 2025 were on campus in December. Like, Darren Mensah really put the dominoes into falling mode as soon as he decided to enter the portal in January and come out at Duke. Darren Mensah, who also reset the quarterback market as a good Tulane quarterback, bordering on great Tulane quarterback in Darren Mensah, entered the portal, came out at Duke with a 2-year, $8 million contract to play there. Now, Duke won a bunch of games last year. We expect Duke to be good, but we did not expect Duke to be spending $8 million over 2 years on a former G6 quarterback. in which you get guys like Nico Iamaleava at Tennessee claiming he wants more money, doesn't get it. We're keeping score of the money that's being spent here and there in ways that we haven't before. We're taking into effect, taking into the accounting in effect, state taxes or the lack thereof, like Tennessee, there's no state tax, there's no state income tax. Florida, same difference. So when you talk about Carson Beck or you talk about John Mateer, you talk about insert high profile transfer here, these are some of the things that we're asking about. So he's going to go to New Orleans, play a little football, and I expect he'll have a great opportunity to win that job right away because none of the guys that are on campus have shown themselves to be as clearly talented as Jake Retzlaff. Now, TJ Finley was supposed to do this, but TJ Finley got caught, I kid you not, buying a hot truck in Atlanta, parking it stupidly in New Orleans, having the cops run the plates on it, and then lie to them about how he got the truck. John Summerall is probably scratching his head just like me, asking, okay, what is it I got to do to find out which one of these guys can be my quarterback, can be my starter? I think this is also not a Hail Mary, but you're willing to take this flyer on Jake Retzlaff because you know what he can do for your football team. I think in the background, there are going to be conversations about Title IX. There are going to be conversations about what this means and as far as the optics for the university and what this means for how Jake Retzlaff gets to move around in New Orleans, quite frankly. And New Orleans has been going through it here of late. Like I did a segment yesterday about Corey Adams, who was killed by a gunshot wound in Memphis, played football at Edna Carr. It's hot. It's humid. They don't need more mess, Jake. Clean it up, whatever you got to do. But I'll tell you this, if he goes down there and he wins football games for Tulane and they can play for an American championship, we probably won't be talking about how he got to Tulane as much as what Tulane might be able to do in the college football playoff, which is the reason to take the flyer, because that's what it is. They want to win. They see a guy that can add value to their program. They see a guy that can be found money in their program. They see a guy that John Summerall built a relationship with in the recruiting process, and they think can spin it. So that's what they're going to do. And as far as agreeing or not agreeing, it's not up to you or me. What it is up to you or me is how we watch this football team and what we have to say about this football team, what we have to say about whatever we can find about the Title IX investigation that led to Jake Retzlaff choosing, by the way, because he had other suitors, choosing to enroll at Tulane and them wanting him to come. I always say recruiting is a two-way street. You got to be wanted, and they got to want you. You got to be wanted, and you got to want them. That seems to be what's going on here. I'm going to be curious to see what this looks like halfway through the season because the schedule is not unmanageable, but it is difficult at the front. Like, they got to go play Duke. They got to play at Ole Miss. And then later in the season, they get Memphis. But they could be there at the end. It's just about, can you get through this non-conference without getting beat up too badly? Because after you play Ole Miss, you get to play my alma mater, Tulsa. We sorry. So unless Trey Lamb knows something I don't, which I hope he does, because I'm tired of being sorry at Tulsa.